Oh, I forgot to change screens. There, that's way better. Oh, Scudo, thank you very much for that. I forgot to do that. Once, twice, 3 times a Shalai D. It's punny. It's punny. I'll give you that. Phil, just in time for dinner. Hopefully, you're gonna have some nice fried Delver for dinner. Eh? Eh? I need to find a more permanent solution to that Womp Womp counter. Because, like, I like it. But I should be able to, like, just have that, like, as a working thing that doesn't have to be reset every stream. But more on that when I'm not, like, testing like a madman. Alright, so an introduction, I suppose, for YouTube folks. Hi, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and tonight we're going to be streaming with some Mono White Death and Taxes. This is a build I've been working on for the past couple of days, featuring Shalai, Voice of Plenty. I know that it might not look like the most playable card, but it's actually pretty darn good. So I know a lot of people aren't familiar with it. So it's a 3/4 flying that gives you, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control hexproof. It's really sweet when backed by Caracas or a Mother of Runes. Hey Moxall, a 4/1 where you lose to Mr. Chicken Bacon Ranch himself, that's fine. That's a good day. So this is just a very slight variation of the build that I tried out yesterday. Yesterday we did a 3-2, but one of those losses was to elves, so it didn't really count. So yesterday we went 3-1 with this build, and that's a pretty good start. We made some changes to the sideboard, rationalizing that if I'm going to slow down the main deck by adding an extra land and a couple of 4-drops, then I might want faster Graveyard Hate versus combo. And we also are going to try a Holy Light over the 3rd path to see how we like that. Welcome, Welshman. Ah, Tezzerator. My good old roommate. Well, I should say one of my good old roommates. Thank you very much for subscribing and supporting my efforts. Now you, too, get to spam the Thalia emote in chat. And on other channels, too, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy doing. You already thought you were subbed? Oops. Or you might have, actually, you might have subbed previously, and then if you missed a month, it doesn't automatically resub you if you're using Prime. You have to, like, manually resub every month. That might be what it was. Lame indeed, Tezzerator. But, like, it's free money, right? So, like, if they make you jump through a hoop for free money, that's okay. So Harley, this is the build I'm looking at right now, with Shalai. It's been pretty good in testing. Not 100% sold on this build yet, but I think it has promise. I'm in. I procrastinated too hard, so I am pulling in all-nighter mode. Don't distract me too much, Phil. No promises. I'm very distracting. Ah! Alright, we're playing friend of the stream here. Usually plays either Death and Taxes or Maverick. Remember, yesterday was my birthday, so you can't actually win, says my opponent. I have an Ether Vial hand with double Flicker Wisp. That's pretty good in the mirror or in Maverick. Oh! Alright. Not what I expected. Bamboozled indeed. Maybe it's spicy popcorn. That is not out of the question. Yeah, the last time I played them on D&T wasn't that long ago either. It was like last week. This does indeed look like Delver. I can't blame my opponent for playing it. It's like, you know, unquestionably the best deck in the format right now. I'll name Deathrite Shaman. I'll blow up one of your 2 lands. Hopefully make you sad. What did Shalai replace? So from the normal build, I think I'm down like 3 Crusaders, and those became Shalai, and Land 24, as well as like Wingmares. I can kind of just go on an aggro my opponent out plan right now. Yes, Wingmare as Mr. Oedipus is pretty good. I've been referring to it as Thalia's Pony personally. All right, so game 1 win with Thalia, Revoker on Deathrite Shaman, Wasteland. Sometimes the games really are just that easy. They're usually not. You're breaking the rule, Phil. Alright, so we're playing against Delver. We'll want the Paths, we'll want the Holy Lights. And Rest in Peace and Council Judgments are considerations as well. Lightning Rod. But it's like the... Shalai kicked the last of the dudes out of the deck. I don't know that Revoker's a lady. At least, not like most of the ladies I date. So maybe I don't go Rest in Peace, and then I just trim one Wingmare or Flicker Wisp. Shalai has actually been really good. Like, it gets boarded out for Delver. Oh, and actually, I really should have considered trimming a land. It gets boarded out for Delver, but, like, generally speaking, Shalai is good against most of the mid-rangey decks of the format. I don't know. Flicker Wisp. I can see Flicker Wisp being a lady. In the same sort of way that a lot of those Japanese monsters that, like, have crazy teeth behind masks are ladies. I can see Flicker Wisp being a lady in that respect. Have you talked to your Flicker Wisp about gender? I liked the part where my mom didn't get eaten by a 1-mana removal spell on my end step. I liked that part. My opponent scryed a card to the top, so it's very possible they needed that card, and they still do have a removal spell for Mom. I see you are actively avoiding the phrase tentacle monster. Chad, I think we might have boarded wrong. But I don't think that's gonna matter. Delver's so good when you give it Exalted triggers from Noble Hierarch, though. I mean, I guess we're poised to have the Batterskull fight. In which case, my Batterskull wins because it's backed up by Mom, soon to be backed up by a second Mom. We saw a Noble Hierarch, so it's probably Bant Deathblade featuring Leovold. Yeah, like, it's not like we boarded that badly, right? Like, it's definitely salvageable boarding. It's not like I boarded for Storm and then it was like, uh-oh, I'm playing Delver. It wasn't anything like that. That's gonna be real good. Until my opponent just, like, casts fucking Zealous Persecution and I roll over and die. You have a Jitte. That ain't bad. Kinda want to put in my Batter Skull right now since I'm 100% doing it, because I don't want to get, like, this clicked and just, like, get super boned. This might play into something like a Council Judgment, but, like, whatever. Come at me. I don't care if you got a Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, the fear. I should flicker the Stoneforge so I can attack them. Good call. Good call. And I'm going to think long and hard about what I'm going to pick with this Council's Judgment. It's a really tough decision. My opponent has a lot of... Oh, God. I just clicked on something. Hope that was right. We're never going to let Seth Manfield live that shit down. Poor little buddy. I'm going to do a quick check of my opponent's knowledge by attacking with this Batter Skull. It'll probably be pretty apparent what I mean if my opponent does what I think they're going to do. Nope. Interesting. What does that mean? Because my opponent has nothing. The play is block, activate Stoneforge Mystic, hold priority, bounce Batter Skull. So my opponent has to have something, or they just don't know about that line. So I don't think I want to play any more creatures out of fear of Zealous Persecution. What do they have if not that? Nada? They just have bricks, and like my moms are bricking them. definitely don't want to play any more of these cards. They're all 1 toughness. Okay, I guess I could play the Flicker Wisp, because Flicker Wisp on Stoneforge getting another piece of equipment isn't a loss. Like, that's still a 1-for-1. I just don't want my opponent to, like, randomly find it. Oh, maybe they have Hardcast Force of Will. Okay. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep in mind that Hardcast Force of Will might be a thing and play it this Ether Vial. Oh, also maybe Daze? Nah, I straight up just think I pass. Master is going well. I'm not sure if my opponent's just, like, basically dead, or if, like, they are going for, like, the biggest, like, bamboozle blowout sort of thing ever. I'm legitimately not sure. I block. And you know I protect. Do you just have, like, 2... Yeah, I don't even care if you have, like, 2 removal spells. Because, like, I have another mob off this vial. I accept my value. Alright, sorry, I wanted to get my spreadsheet all updated here. So Master, what did you just witness? So my opponent was on some sort of, like, Bant Stoneblade, you know, Bant Stoneblade featuring Leovold, Deathblade sort of deck, like, you know, depending on where you draw those lines. And I thought they were Delver after game 1, because they showed us, like, Trop, Deathrite, Ponder, Daze, a second blue fetch for Underground CE, I think. And then they just died? Okay, so now that my opponent is back in the chat, after game 1, I definitely thought you were Grixis Delver because of the cards that you showed me, so I boarded for Delver in game 2, and luckily did not get punished for it. Yeah, so my opponent, like, wisely fetched Batterskull to hold the ground, but because I could get my own Batterskull, and I had double Mom backup for it, it shut off most of my opponent's hand, so, like, they were just kind of crippled. Or no, sorry, it wasn't Trop. Maybe it was like CC. You showed me lands that would have been in Grixis Delver before you conceded. Yeah, so like when I was talking to the chat about getting paired with you, I was just talking about, like, he usually plays like D&T or Maverick, and then I saw like Underground Sea Deathrite, and I was confused. The Noble Hierarch hitting play was a moment of realization. Yeah, so in the second half of the game there, you probably saw me like hesitate a bit on my turn. I was trying to figure out whether or not like you actually had something like a Zealous Persecution in hand and were trying to milk more value out of it, or if you had like Stone Cold Nothing and my mom was blanking your hand. So since I paused for a while on my turns, that's what I was thinking about. Like I had a Flicker Wisp and a Wingmare in hand. And I just opted to play neither and just play my Vial. Yeah, every time I go back to playing Mono White, I just have this moment where I'm like, oh, sweet stability. Sweet, sweet stability, how I love thee. Because I experiment and play a lot of stuff, and then, like, sometimes it's just like, UC, Delver, Wasteland, uh-oh, I'm dead. I think this deck list has like 12 planes or something absurd like that. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13? Oh god, what did I do? Yeah, 13 basic lands. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, excuse me. I'm a little bit tired. I had to work today and then do some training after work. And so I basically got done cooking and eating and watching an obligatory episode of anime or two, and then it was stream time already. But luckily my training didn't last quite as long as anticipated. They said it was going to go until 5:30, and I got out closer to like 5:10. This hand looks awesome. I guess Habs 11. play for this one? I guess this hand is a little weak if my opponent counters this Vial, but 100% not throwing this back. Alright, Bono's F6, no counter magic. Which will win? One pony or a 2020 indestructible boy? Place your bets now. Come on. Urborg, Hexmage, and YOLO it. You know you wanna. Horses are better than Cthulhu's? Yeah, probably. Spirit Guide. Stage. Sylvan's Crying. Urborg. So we're playing against Turbo decks. Yeah, true name plus equipment is pretty gross. Thought sees me. By Sarigi Stab. Yeah, that's a pretty bad draw. My opponent might need multiple mana for something. But it does seem like a misplay from my end. I don't know my opponent's hand though. They might need to like double spell in order to try to get through what I've got going on. Arrest me. You can have this Batter Skull. It was not doing anything anyway. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, now since my opponent played the Sajiri step, I'm not just dead. So that's nice. We're kind of in an awkward staring contest, though. So if I attack in with both creatures, my opponent has to block, and then I die. So I just attack with the Flicker Wisp. They produce a Merit Lodge. I try to bounce it. They sack a land. They eat my Flicker Wisp. So maybe I can't actually attack. I have the Merit Lodge locked down on defense, though. It's kind of unfortunate. I don't know, but maybe like the attack is fine because like it's essentially an attack that says like I trade my Flicker Wisp for one of your lands. Is that a good enough attack? Or am I just supposed to wait until I can present lethal through Merit Lodge? That won't take particularly long. I guess I can also just attack with Flicker Wisp. If my opponent creates the Merit Lodge, I just pro-black that, let my Wingmare die if they attack in. They're not going to have a second Sajiri step. So the attack is actually good. Yeah, I think my attack's actually good. I walk myself through that. Like, it's risky if they have, like, some sort of Abrupt Decay or something, I guess, but is that fine? I'm just trying to decide if my position is better or worse by waiting. I think I attack. So the nice thing is that if he sacrifices a land here, he can't Abrupt Decay, because Abrupt Decay would cost 3 mana. It's also possible I'm not supposed to protect, just let my Flicker Wisp die and play the, like, I'm gonna Caracas your Merit Lodge every game and keep you in sinkhole mode. The Wisp pushes 1 more damage. That's the reason. My opponent was at 5, so 2 Wisp attacks doesn't kill them, but 2 Flicker Wisp attacks does. Game 1 win with Vile and Caracas. I probably played the end of that game there too aggressively. Like, giving them 1 turn to have land Abrupt Decay in 3 cards is probably good, especially considering that they don't always, like, have Decay in the main deck. A lot of times they just, like, don't have main deck removal. So, it was probably fine. But if I play more patiently and just go, like, bounce, make you sack a land, block, protect, bounce, make you sack a land, block, protect, I probably just can't lose that game either. So maybe a more conservative line was better. I'll have to think about that. Alright, so Path's in for sure. Relic Order in for sure. Holy Light might be good enough, oddly enough, because it kills Safekeeper and Vampire Idiot. I'll consider that. And Recruiter and Council's Judgment are pretty good. Alright, what's bad? I guess this isn't like the best Stoneforge matchup. I can probably cut some or all of this. Yeah, I guess that's true, Zach. I don't really know about this Holy Light. This Holy Light might be too ambitious, but like just having something that can take the Hex Mage off the table and the Sylvan Safekeeper off the table especially might be good enough. I don't know if that's better than just like a Surgical or 2. Like make them blow apart, Surgical it, and then we're done. That's pretty good. Cut one rando card over that. I don't know what that last cut's supposed to be. Second Council's Judgment. This hand is nothing. It goes back. This hand's great. Got even better. So this hand has Thalia and Thalia's Pony ×2 and Vial and an anti-merit Lodge card. Deal. That's a good combo. That means I could be facing down a tentacle monster next turn. Hooray for Phil. It's my birthday. And I got a Merit Lodge. Probably, anyway. Like, they can crop rotation for a Sejiri step, but... Alright, I'm only gonna have to peck through 39 more life since my opponent fetched. Yes, Daxila, but playing around Wasteland. Stupid Urborg. Alright, opponent currently cannot cast any spells. Oh, well, that's not true. There's an Urborg. You just think I don't know how cards work? Maybe they think they're just 100% dead, so, like, the chance of me, like, misclicking is higher than the chance of them winning the game otherwise. Who knows? I frequently say that. Opponent being bad is one of the best outs that I play to. That's how I win a lot of games of Magic. I forget who said it, but one of the SCG grinders said, like... Ooh, that's really good. Said something along the lines of, like, if my opponents were good, I would never win a game of Magic. Alright, chat, here's a fun one. Surgical Extraction on Dark Depths. Let's play black, and still 2 life. Ah, the opponent figured out what was going on before I could actually cast it. Play, win, draw, win. Alright. Game 2 win with Thalia and double Wingmare. Easy life. Three mana surgical extractions. Powerful magic. Yeah, it was basically unbeatable. Alright. 2040. Looking good for this deck list. Almost as good as a 4-mana Brainstorm. What about Delverboarding, Moxall? You like cutting the land when you cut the Shalai? I think it's something I need to look at. I'm not sure. Like, I don't with the red-white build, but that's because there's stability issues there. It's possible against Delver I should, like, cut a Caracas, or, like, cut a port, and just, like, cut one of my sources that can be wastelanded. I don't know, maybe the 24 is fine, though. I played against this player recently, but it must have been when I was playing one of my fun decks. So I don't know what they're playing. I'll remove this Delver on sight. Especially after my opponent fetches a basic and, you know, presumably makes their mana worse in their 4-color deck. Oh, I think this was my Grixis Control opponent from a day or two ago. Hey look, opponent, I drew another Stoneforge. Isn't that grand? Boo. Fetch lands OP, hiding my opponent's lands like that. This is a cool spot. So I get to play the Stoneforge Mystic. If my opponent lets this trigger resolve, I get to go land and put in a piece of equipment uncounterably. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to like keep playing this Wasteland Stare game. It will not be the norm for me to stream this much. I'm testing for a big event right now. So numbers will taper off, you know, in a week and a half. No, I legitimately think Shalai is good. I'm trying to think if Port and Mom is better, or if just, like, Mom and Hold Up Wasteland, or Port and Hold Up Wasteland is better. They're all strong lines. I don't think Palace Jailer's a good card in the current metagame. I don't think it's anywhere close to a good card. So I think if my opponent plays like a K command, I want this Mom in play to just protect my stuff afterwards. See if I'm just like sad and my opponent has Deluge and they're what is presumably a young Pyromancer deck. No, they just have like Stone Cold nothing over there. Wow, okay. I'm going to put them down as Grixis Control. Not 100% sure. Game 1 win with double Stoneforge Mystic. My opponent kind of really boned themselves by fetching a swamp and then getting swords to plowshares. Their Deathrite Shaman swords to plowshare. Alright, so assuming we're playing against Grixis Control, Recruiter's good, Holy Light's good. Rest in Peace is good. Cataclysms and Council Judgments are worth consideration. Revoker's pretty bad. Tend to like trim at least one Flicker Wisp in these sorts of scenarios. And most of the rest of our main deck's good, so I'm probably just like overboarding cards. I could also trim some number of Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, I don't even Cataclysm. I just do something like this. Like, Cataclysm can not be the best in this matchup, like, even though they're a control deck, because they have some big threats like Gurmag Angler and some annoying threats like Young Pyromancer that even if you wipe away a bunch of lands, they can still take over games. So this leaves me with 4 removal spells for critters, 3 of which can hit a True Name, 2 of which can hit Planeswalkers, only 1 of which hits Deathrite Shaman, but then I have Rest in Peace for those. This is probably about right. Yeah, this is pretty good. It's a little clunky that we have like the 2-3 drops in the opener that are non-creatures with like a Thalia hand, but whatever. We don't expect that Thalia to live anyway. The Russian war in Afghanistan. Well, you have fun with that, and I'm gonna keep playing with this angel here. It's not even May yet. It's not even May, and you're already doing finals? Ugh. Jazzy, well, the good news is, like, all these go up on YouTube. They're watchable later. Ah, okay, different schedule. All right, that makes sense. Most of the American stuff at the college level starts getting done like mid-May, and at like the high school level starts getting done end of May. That was a top preordain, just for reference, chat, in case you were wondering. So what am I doing this turn? I don't really want to get this Vile K commanded. Whatever I do is probably just eating a removal spell. If I draw a land, I would love to like do both Thalia and Wingmare next turn, but I don't know if I can give my opponent that much unchecked mana. So I should probably just play Thalia. I also kind of want the Thalia to die. That way, if I spike a land, I can play a Council Judgment, and I would be absolutely fine with Council Judgmenting away a Deathrite if my opponent doesn't add anything else to their board. Yeah, the whole like hate bears versus storm and blue decks versus storm dynamic is like entirely is so entirely different. You have almost no like conceptual carryover in skill between the decks. That is a great draw. Really tempted to just like double wasteland my opponent, even though they have Deathblade Shaman. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play this one a little more patiently. I've got some mana sinks, so I don't really want to lose my own lands. Oh man, the best you've got to do for your turn is drain me? Dealio. Yeah, Moxall, I mean, I obviously agree because I'm doing it, but, like, it has been my experience that the stacking has just been nuts recently. I don't know what changed to make that so, because the metagame has stayed about the same, but, I don't know if the removal suites are just slightly different these days or what. Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt. Yep. Oh, what the hell does that do? Probably just get another frickin' Wingmare, honestly. Yeah. This is making like 3 of the cards in my hand basically dead. But over the next couple of turns, I intend on like Flicker Wisping my Recruiter and getting a Stoneforge. Probably after a couple Flicker Wisps before that, if I even need to get to that point. My opponent is going to need something like a Marsh Casualties to get themselves out of this. Alright, Torque Bolt's pretty good. But now, like, my equipment is live again. Okay, but you don't have green for the sword. Okay, unless you do that. If you had a preordain, don't you lead on that to help you sculpt the rest of your turn better? It's fine. The top with the preordain, so it was spicy. So I think on my turn, I'm probably going to like play a Vial and double Wasteland them. If that's the case, then I probably just want to get like a 2-drop. Like getting something like a Stoneforge Mystic to make use out of this Batterskull later is pretty good. Or getting a Mom that I can Vial in somewhat immediately is also good. I could get a Wingmare and just like keep trying to push, but I feel like my opponent's resources are going to line up well against me. So I think I'm just going to get Mom. It's a tough decision. I could also just get like Thalia to like continue taxing once I resolve the Vial and double waste. But I think I like Mom. It's just a very safe line. I could also Council's Judgment away Deathrite Shaman, then Wasteland them off of black. That would make better use of a card that's in my hand and give me the opportunity to just go like land Batterskull, while also taking them off of 2 mana the same sort of way. That might be better. It's not as mana efficient. Yeah, but like I'm considering wastelanding them, right? So I would be putting lands there. That's a shuffle with the Ponder. Fork Bolt's annoying, but like I've done the damage here. Opponent's on like super minimal resources. It's a bad time to draw a blank. This is fine as long as my opponent doesn't have like a bolt. I can beat most non-bolt things. Because on my turn I'll get to like play Shalai and put Jitte on it. Or I guess I can't beat one more spell, right? So if opponent hits me for 4, I go to 2. Yeah, I'm gonna need to hit a live draw. So what draws beat my opponent? I'm trying to like debate if I should concede before showing them this Shalai. Can't draw Holy Light and get that to do it. I'd take Vial up, so Recruiter wouldn't do it. Swords of Plowshares could hit Pyro. I block Snapcaster, still take 2. I don't know that I have any outs, but I'm not confident enough that I don't have any outs, and I'm going to concede. Because like a 2-mana creature might do something, right? No. Not now that they played the second card. That's actually really good. So put this in. Is Shalai. Put this in. It's Thalia. Thalia gets first strike. Thalia won't be targetable by idiot spells. That's unfortunate that has to happen. And now if my opponent doesn't have anything, I'll take over this game. So opponent could have just killed me, except they're fucking terrible, and did this post-combat. I'm so sad that I'm losing to an opponent who is this poor. That's disappointing. Alright, so game 2, opponent has double forked bolt and Lily last. I'll be on the play for the next one. My boarding seems about right. I can... Like, my opponent didn't show me... My opponent showed me a Lily Last Hope, but didn't show me anything like True Name Nemesis, so maybe I can step back on this whole Council's Judgment thing, play less around Liliana the Last Hope, and play more around their creatures. That seems reasonable when being on the play. My disruption is more likely to keep it from coming down in the first place anyway. No basic planes. I want to put the Shalai in first so that it protects the Thalia from removal. Because the Thalia is what keeps me alive, right? So, I believe what I did was correct. Because then, if I just, like, try to vial in Shalai, they'll tag my Thalia in response to that, and I'll die. And I needed both blockers. Scumbag Batterskull's just like ready to hang out. Right, but didn't I need both blockers to live even with Jitte? So what was the board? It was... I was at 2. My opponent has 2 2-power creatures and 3 elementals. So I block 1, that's 5 coming through. And then my opponent would have made 1 more with that Fatal Push. So I did need the second body. Was I beating the board? So to give my opponent credit from from the last game where they made like a super terrible play, in the chat they just typed "Screaming Baby, gotta go." So they were heavily distracted. Oh, the third came off a push. Okay, maybe what I did was wrong. Like we've got to get used to playing with Shalai. There's some really odd lines and sequencing going on there. But at the same time, like the only thing that beats it is like push with Revolt from my opponent, so maybe it's fine to just jam there. Unclear. Okay. So if my opponent attacks him with everything, I block Pyromancer. First strike happens, I kill Pyromancer, go up to 4 life. Yeah. So it would have been better to sit on Shalai. Jeez, that's weird. That's so weird. This hand looks fine. I feel like I played against this player recently. Oh, they're an ant. How many turn 2 disruptive cards do I have? 6. I should probably settle for keeping something that has a turn 3 disruptive thing and not try to mulligan to Thalia. Because if my opponent blind Cabal therapies me, they name Thalia anyway. So maybe Wingmare dodges. In before, just like get turn 1 anyway, decisions don't matter. Yes, Ataxian Probe does make a therapy significantly better. Although it doesn't look like that's happening. Like, opponent doesn't need to therapy the Wingmare because it's not coming down on turn 2 anyway. Maybe I'll draw like Thalia or Revoker and just get to Mise him. Hey, welcome. We're playing with Shalai tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I've got learning to do with Shalai. That card's really hard to play with. Which it doesn't seem like it would be the case for a 4-drop, but it is. Okay, so I shouldn't say Shalai is hard to play with. I should say Shalai plus Ether Vial is hard to play with. Because when you can instant speed that sucker, it does a lot of really weird, unintuitive things that I have to learn. Alright, Cabal Therapy, you get Wingmare. You bet. Yeah, but I know, like, I won't say literally all of the Flicker Wish lines, because they are, like, borderline infinite, but I am used to almost every reasonable Flicker Wish line that can occur in Legacy. Storm is 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. Then Tendrils for 12 beats Swords to Plowshares. So, Keep, I think the Keep was right. Like, opponent had to have Gitaxian Probe or the Cabal Therapy would have missed and I would have won the game. So Keep felt good. We did not win, but, you know, Keep was fine. I would have pitched that hand on the draw, though. Alright, so we'll probably go Surgicals, Canonist, Rip in, Recruiter in, Holy Light for Goblins in, Relic Order in. I have extra cards, so probably not Council's Judgment. Let's probably go Swords to Plowshares out. Probably Jitte out. Probably a Stoneforge out. Honestly, maybe all of the Flicker Wisps out with this build. And maybe not, maybe keep, yeah, maybe keep a Flicker Wisp just for the sake of a body. Or keep the Stoneforge for the sake of equipment getting. And then do something like this. I think I like this. So here's the plan. Soul Lands, Chalice, early Shalai. That sounds like a whole new deck that I'd like to play. Easy mulligan. This hand's pretty darn bad. It's got an Ether Vial, but if I draw a 2-drop, I can't actually cast it, and my first disruption is on turn 4. Put my opponent mulligan. I still don't think I can keep this one. Even with a land, it doesn't do a lot. I'd need to, like, naturally rip land. That goes back. This I'll keep. Chat, what do you do with this scry? I'm snipping this spot. This is a great spot. This could so mize a win if my opponent just goes for it. Like, they'll probe my hand, see that they can just, like, poop goblins everywhere, and it'll be safe, and then I get them. But this is not proactive at all. It's reactive, and it assumes my opponent can produce goblins on 6. I'm shipping it. But I think the spot is super neat. Moxall, that is not true for the post-sideboard games. I'd be so pissed if my opponent just, like, empties. Double basics. Daggers. Ugh. Disappointingly, I'm going to play this as a bear. Yeah, Vile's the best card in the deck. I do like Viles. However, there's a caveat there. Alright, I'm not guaranteed dead. I'm just very likely dead. Opponent's flips have not been good. They have lots of mana. Oh, man. And they're dead. Let me draw for the next one. Oh, I need to stop doing that. Opponent just said, "What was I thinking?" Yeah. I'm getting kind of tired of all of my ad nauseum opponents, like, just having, like, these natural kills with no cantrips. Although this might just be empty. I haven't done the math. So Storm is 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so it's an ad nause. Yeah, Shalai's been pretty good. Yeah, now opponent gets to go Dark Rit, Cabal Rit, Lotus Petal, Tutor Tendrils? God, the storm counter being broken is such a big fucking deal. That's so tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tendrils. Oh no, no LED here. So this may just be empty for a lot. Sorry, I thought there was an LED in there. You forgot the part where Magic Online is a quality program. Stoneforge Mystic, please. Not Stoneforge Mystic. Dead. So something weird about my experiences against Ant. Against Ant on paper, my win rate is like 80%, and against Ant on Magic Online, my win percentage against Ant is like 40%. The average Ant player on Magic Online is much better, and they don't miss as much stuff. I also think that the Ant players can spend more time just like sitting and thinking on Magic Online when they need to figure out their lines, where they can't do that on paper. There's actually very little storm. Let me back that up with numbers. Yeah, storm's like 5 or 6%. Like that's very average for legacy decks. You're just hitting a weird sample size there. Like 6% is about the same as like Death and Taxes, Check Pile, Miracles. So you're hitting a weird bit of variance there. There's not really all that much. And I think that statistic probably counts both Ant and Tess. So hello, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. I'm currently testing for the team event in Baltimore, which, oh geez, is just over a week away at this point. We're playing a mono-white deck with Shalai. Shalai has been pretty good so far. Although I have a lot to learn about how to use that card properly. It's created some really weird lines. I potentially threw away a game in match 3 where the correct line was to not play Shalai and keep it off of Vial to protect another card, rather than to Vial it in and preemptively protect it. It was super weird. That same sort of spot might come up again, so I need to train more. I am playing against the Pyramid of Greatness, and my hand is hot garbage. I'm going to click the mulligan button. And I'm going to keep this hand and probably be sad, because I think my opponent plays a weird Tezzerator deck. So this is effectively a 5-card hand, because this Swords to Plowshares is probably going to be dead. How is Shalai against Tezzerator? So what would it stop? It would stop Brea, and not much else. So I'll bottom that. I hope my opponent doesn't lead on, like, Ancient Tomb Dimir Signet. I want my Thalia to do something effective this match. Sure, yes, it stops Tezzult. What I really meant was, like, what does it stop in the short term? Lingmeister, the details are under the stream, but, you know, basically, if you want me to do a stream, I think I say it's 12 for a bonus stream of some nature. Yeah. 12 for a bonus stream, 20 if you want me to write some sort of, like, matchup primer on something like that. So do I want to play Stoneforge and then use my next turn to go Stoneforge equip and get sort of Fire and Ice on Thalia to just, like, dome my opponent as quickly as possible? Or do I want to play the Vial so that I can just, like, play the Vial Port Wasteland game? It's a real question. Like, there is some desire to just, like, try to aggro my opponent out. But I think I can probably control the pace of this game if this Vial resolves. If I go for just, like, the aggressive Stoneforge Mystic equip on Thalia play, I might get punished by, like, land Ensnaring Bridge. Because that would put my opponent to 3 cards. Dak Faden, the greatest thief in the multiverse. Alright, they just want to loot. Loot, loot, loot. I wish my hand wasn't hot garbage. Let's see. So if I attack Dak, I effectively keep Dak at 4 loyalty for the next turn. Then Stoneforge Equip deals with that. So that's probably my line. Keeping my opponent off of blue-blue for transmute artifact matters. Otherwise, I'm just trying to keep them off of like Thopter Foundry and Baleful Strix, neither of which I can do. Like the only other things I need to worry about are like Tezzerator or Brea, but Brea is not happening. Well, I guess if opponent spikes a land, Brea could happen, but whatever. I have Caracas for Brea. So I guess I'll try to keep them off of the second copy of Transmute Artifact. Of note, this deck doesn't play Brainstorm, so I don't need to like play around my opponent using their mana to Brainstorm. Hey, there's that Brea I was talking about. So for anyone who doesn't know that card, 4/4 for 4 different colors of mana. You get 2 Thopters when it enters. You can pay 2 and sacrifice 2 artifacts to either Lightning Bolt, Grasp of Darkness, or whatever the hell gain 5 life is. Alright, so now I just try to tax them and keep them from doing things that I care about. So I can Wasteland this, port them, and hope that does something. Chaplain's Blessing. Hey, there we go. I knew there would be some card that did it. I just didn't know what that card was. Oh, this is big. I don't like it, like, literally whatever it is. Yeah, it's annoying. So now hoping to get a Flicker Wisp to flicker out the bridge and kill Tezzeret. Jeez, they just whiffed with Tezzeret, or chose not to put it in hand. They very likely might have chosen not to put it in hand. Actually. I can keep Tezzeret at parity, but that's the best I can do. So I can go 4 mana to cast that. That seems poor. I'll just do this on a turn where Stoneforge finally can't attack. And I'll double port them. I have a choice to make about whether I want it to make it harder for them to empty their hand and play multiple cards, or whether I want to keep them off of more colored mana. So assuming I get to Flicker Wisp and attack with Flicker Wisp as well, I currently have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would want them to tap the Ancient Tomb twice for mana before I draw a Flicker Wisp. So I guess that means I should attack colored mana. Yeah, it is kind of P and K. But, like, sacking 2 artifacts is kind of a big deal. Baleful Strix, oddly enough. I was about to say, oddly enough, not the best card under these circumstances. Okay. Recruiter gets me Flicker Wisp. So, do I set this up for next turn? Just let my opponent have their mana, and I go... Recruiter, get a Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp, Recruiter, get a Flicker Wisp. I can also just, like, kill the Tezzeret now if I want. I think. If I went, like... No, I don't have quite enough mana to do all of that. The Baleful Strix complicates things. It makes the math a little bit harder. I can also just, like, revoke Tezzeret. Just, like, straight up, like, get Recruiter. Like, cast Recruiter. Get Revoker, revoke Tezzeret. And then have time to draw into something else. Just like getting a whole bunch of Flicker Wisps and then going for lethal might be better than just like trying to like stop the Tezzeret. So I think what I'm gonna do is start attacking them with this. I'm gonna see if they'll trade the Baleful Strix for it. They do. And that means the way is cleared for just, like, Flicker Wisp Party Parade. So I'll need to do 13. So this is 3. That'll get a Flicker Wisp. Cast Flicker Wisp. Target Recruiter. So this is currently 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get Flicker Wisp. So this is 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is exactly lethal flickering out Ensnaring Bridge. That's bad. Actually, no, it's not that bad. They can only make 1 Thopter. So they make 1 Thopter, they go up 1 life, they go to 12. Oh, they can block a Flicker Wisp. So they go to 12, they block a Flicker Wisp. They can't block the one with the sword, though. So this will get blocked. Then I'll have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. I can't go Swords to Plowshares and like Swords to Plowshares, the 1 Thopter they make in response to the Sword of the Meek equip trigger, and still kill them because I don't have enough mana. Oh, this is unfortunate. Shit. Do I really need to, like, shut that off? And then, like, wait? That's really unfortunate. I guess I can, like, Recruiter for another Recruiter, then play a Sword and... so close. Yeah, I can grab Revoker, and that's what I'm going to have to do. It's not what I wanted to do, though. I wanted to, like, end this game. But I'm going to be just short of ending this game. Ugh. Romario, that green-white stream will happen post-Baltimore. I need to do serious testing before I have time to mess around. I'm going to be out of town for most of the weekend, so I probably won't get to stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or test Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means, like, I've got tonight, tomorrow night, and Monday through Thursday of next week to figure out, like, what exact... Ah, fucking second bridge. Fuck me. Yeah, I'm the legacy player. Harley Cox is my modern player, and Mike Kirby is my standard player. Okay, so there's 2 bridges. That means I can attack with 2 power guys this turn. So... Oh, wait, hold on. So I can go Stoneforge, 4 mana, Jitte. Okay, I can potentially beat these bridges. This is actually fine. All right, so I'll remove this Thopter by paying a whopping 3 mana. Then I have 2, 4, 6, 7 power. I can kill this Tezzerator right now, and then play Stoneforge and use Stoneforge to sneak through bridge for the rest of the game. Two at Tezzerator. 4 at Tezzerator. 6 at Tezzerator. 1 at you. No, I think what I'm doing is better. So for anyone not familiar with this combo, like the way Ensnaring Bridge works is it can't stop 0 power creatures from attacking. So if you get Jitte counters, you can use Stoneforge to, like, you can use a Jitte counter, shrink Stoneforge, attack in with Stoneforge, pump Stoneforge, get Jitte counters again, and just kind of, like, derp and repeat that process. So the next time my opponent fails to empty their hand completely, I'll take over the game. You should, Romario. It's gonna be fun. How did you fit a Hazaret in there? Like, legitimate question. This game is a comedy of errors. This is fine. If I find a Revoker for Mox Diamond, then I can port him off of Volk and Diamond, and then he can't fucking use this shithead at me. Alright. What am I playing around? I have no idea. Opponent could have anything in their deck at this stage. I do probably want to play this Ether Vial, though. Yeah, confirmed opponent's deck is cool. I've never seen Tezzerator in this shell before. Like, it makes sense, but my kingdom for another Swords to Plowshares, which is something I don't normally say in this matchup. Great. Please tell me this targets. Please tell me this targets. Fuck me. Alright. Yes, I have plenty of good draws. And my god, these Cataclysms are going to feel real good in the post-sideboard games. So, like, Caracas is doubly good because not only does it bounce Tezzerator, but it also puts a card back into their hand for ensnaring bridge purposes. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, if they have to tap the tomb one more time, I have... Never mind. Yes, Alright. So, do I put this Jitte into play? Or do I just hold this so it doesn't get stolen with Dak? I probably hold it so it doesn't get stolen with Dak. I guess it doesn't really matter that much if it gets stolen with Dak. Opponent doesn't have any 1/1s right now. And my stuff's hexproof anyway. Yeah, so I can pass, double port, still put in with Stoneforge. Yeah, that's fine. I really wish I could concede this game, but I'm so not dead that I just can't justify it. But I'm eating up so much clock because I have to spend time thinking about, like, how to beat my opponent's weird set of crap. Alright. Sword of the Mika is a critter. Super exciting magic. Haven't figured that out yet, Red Twister. I'm considering just conceding. But, like, drawing a Caracas is pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm aware of the clock. I also might just, like, F6 through all of my turns and all of my opponent's turns to eat their clock, because they have to keep taking actions or I might kill them. Chalice on 1. Okay. I think my ports are now at the point where they've probably outlived their usefulness in terms of clock. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop porting my opponent and just make them kill me and eat clock. I lost way too much clock thinking. Yeah, whether or not opponent sees that they have lethal with Tezzerator is an entirely different question, right? Or does this targets? Nope, they don't have lethal. Alright, you want to DAC and steal some stuff? I don't care. I'm F6. Do what you want. You got an Ether Vial. I think this game is an example of something that would go to time in Game 1 in Paper Magic. That doesn't fetch anything. I'll play the body. This is miserable. Caracas. That does nothing. I don't need another one of those. You have yakety sax playing? That seems like a strong line. Who? Alright, so that's one in hand. These are colorless. I can't actually push any real amounts of damage here. But now I can mess with my opponent quite a bit. Back in the game! Until my opponent realizes that, like, they can fucking tick that Aether Vial up to 4 and, like, do me dirty. Oh. Alright, so they can now, like, try to, like, Crucible Wasteland me off these ports. Oh shit, that was a turn to get Jitte counters. You know, obviously not paying as full attention to this match as I should. The screen is just, like, hemorrhaging all over the place. Oh shit, they control that Jitte. Oh well. That happened so long ago that I forgot about it. Okay. That was maybe one of the weirdest games of Magic that I have ever played. I've played a lot of Magic. Wow. So after all that, I was unplayed, loss. So game one, lost to double bridge, I guess. So the good news is that my deck is pretty well equipped to not die. I'm very good at not dying. Alright, so Moms and Swords to Plowshares for sure are coming out, and that gets us most of the way there. I'll even consider Surgical Extraction for, like, just, like, quick Thopter Sword death. Alright, so my opponent conceded that to have some shot at winning another game because they were just going to time out in that one. I mean, they're still probably going to time out anyway, but, you know. Alright. So I was on the play and I win. I'll be on the draw for the next one. So game 2, opponent concedes the clock. Sorry, I'm using this time to chat with my opponent a little bit about the match. Where he was talking about how I was planning on beating the bridges, and I said I was gonna like bounce his Tezzerator, and he said, yeah, but once I had the DAC, I could just like loot the Tezzerator away, so that would stop. Strix is probably too good for Modern. Stoneforge Mystic would be pushing it, but might be acceptable. It'd like really be pushing it. Shalai, Lewis. Shalai stops that. I couldn't be targeted by it. This Relic Order has been so clutch. I'm doing this so that my opponent doesn't, like, draw Soul Land, put another counter on Walking Ballista, and then, like, have that bugger around forever. I'm going to cast this while I still have the opportunity to cast this. Okay, I'm sure I have a lot of chat comments that I missed there, but I needed to like pay full attention to that game to make sure I was running the clock more efficiently than my opponent was. Okay, so let me say a couple of things about that match, and then I'll answer some of the questions I got in chat in the last couple of minutes. So that game kind of that match showcased some of the power of Shalai, right? Like, I happened to shut down my opponent's primary kill condition with Shalai, and Shalai kept me alive for, like, I don't know, like, literally 20 turns or something absurd like that. So, I don't know that that will be the norm, but in some matchups, Shalai will do really weird things like that I did not expect it to do. I did not plan for it to do, but, like, Shalai was the MVP of that set. Yeah, I think Shalai can be pretty crazy good in a modern shell, where you can, like, realistically activate that ability with all your mana dorks, too. That seems fine. Alright, let me take just a second and scroll through the chat, see, like, how many billions of comments I missed. I thought you were mostly all talking about modern. Okay, yeah, it's a bunch of modern comments. I'm not going to respond to that in too much detail because, like, I'm obviously not a modern player. I don't know too much. Okay, so chat, that was a 4-1, right? That was wins against Deathblade, Turbodeps, Grixis Control, Tezzerator, and a loss to Ant. Alright, that's pretty good. So, let's break down this deck list. Is there anything I want to change about this? 24th land was good. Double Shalai was good. Stacking Wingmare was good. Still wanted access to Revoker, even though it's not the best right now. I feel like I sideboarded in every sideboard card, so that's fine. Whether or not Holy Light is better than Path 3, unclear. But this feels pretty good. I don't know that I want to make any changes to this before I run another league. Have I played versus Bug Pile, or like Edric Pile? Generally speaking, yes. I think I played against it when I was on the red-white Shalai deck, though. I don't think it was on this one. Is there a follow-up question to that, Red Twister? No, I don't have any Mirran Crusaders in this. I cut them completely. Which may or may not be a mistake, but it didn't feel like a mistake this league. Let me look. I feel like I played against Pile. So I haven't played with Pile with this, but I played against Grixis Control twice, and I've won both times. You know, I know that's not like one-to-one overlap, but, you know, similar sorts of testings. No, I think the Shalais are really good. Like, they were awesome against Grixis Control, which by extension means they're probably awesome against Check Pile. They were really good in some of the random matchups. I'm mostly boarding it out against, like, Delver and Weird Combo. But it's even good against some combo decks, right? Like, assuming you make it to the mid-game against Storm, all of a sudden Shalai comes down and, you know, is total bros and protects your Thalia and also gives you hexproof, too. So I think I like what I've got going on with this deck list. I feel pretty confident with this. I mean, I need to play more games. Like, I need to determine whether or not this sideboard plan is right. Like, whether or not, like, the balanced graveyard hate is right. Whether or not it's okay to not play Containment Priest. Whether or not, like, I need a sort of War and Peace in here for the mirror. I might not, because I can just, like, have aerial supremacy with 9 flyers. But, like, I'm down a Revoker from a stock mono-white build. It's probably right to not play Containment Priest. Like, I lose a creature-based target for the Reanimator matchups, which I don't love. But if I'm throwing a couple of Surgicals in there, maybe that's fine. At the same time, like, maybe one of the Surgicals is supposed to be a fairy. Like, just so I can have something that is tutorable graveyard hate. But I don't love fairy for, like, the lands matchups and such, and Baltimore expect to see lands. So a graveyard package that looks like this is way better than one that includes Containment Priest. Yeah, I could do 3 Rip and Fairy. But there's something to be said for this variation that I've got going on here. Like, it's something to think about, but I feel like my numbers are pretty close here on where I want to be. Yeah, that's another question, is, like, do I want to, like, try to squeeze a Prelate in the sideboard for lands? If so, what does that come at the cost of? So I guess another question I can start asking is, if Shalai is really good against Pile and Miracles and decks of that nature, is it good enough that I don't need Cataclysm and I could, like, diversify And, like, I could make one of those Cataclysms a Sanctum Prelate. I don't know that I love that, because, like, Cataclysm is awesome against Pile and Miracles, but... Like, I've still got things to think about here, but something approximating this is probably what I'll want to play in Baltimore if it keeps feeling this good. So yesterday we got a 3-1 finish with that, not counting the match against Elves that we never ever could have won. And this is a 4-1, so discounting Elves, that's 7-2. That's pretty good. And, like, at the same time, this deck list was still really good, too. This was one that we talked about yesterday at the tail end of the stream, and we thought something like this might be viable as well. It's just a question of, like, how much do I want to, like, beat up on Delver versus how much do I want to beat up on Pile and Miracles, because the P and Ks are so good against those two matchups, but something like this is going to be better against Delver just due to all the stability and the absurd 13 planes. Yeah, Moxall, that does make me nervous about dropping Cataclysm, because, like, I've played against an odd amount of big Eldrazi, and that card's Cataclysm's super important there, especially if I don't have Magus. Honestly, no, Elves is a scoop. You don't plan to beat Elves. Like, you have to do ridiculous things in order to make your deck better against Elves. And even if I'm playing things like Holy Light, it's probably not good enough. We still just lose that matchup. The best way to win against Elves is have your opponent get struck by lightning. The second best way to win against Elves is have your opponent be bad. The third best way to win against Elves is get extremely lucky where you draw great and your opponent draws badly. Other than that, you just kind of, like, pray to Thalia and see what happens. Yeah, Big Eldrazi might just be overrepresented, that's true. Alright, folks, I'm going to start winding down. Does anyone have any last questions or comments or ideas before I sign off for the night? While I'm giving you a second to type, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and if you enjoyed this content, please follow to help support my content. And if you really like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe or donate to my channel, or send me emails with advice and your testing data or anything like that you want to do in order to help me make all of this stuff better. Jitte on a Crusader is always a great plan for Elves. But then they just, like, Rexage the Jitte and somehow beat you anyway, and you're just, like, throwing your hands up in the air and screaming and crying. So, like, talking about Shalai and, like, Stoneforge Mystic a bit. Stoneforge Mystic is kind of bad against Pile, but it's so important against Delver that, like, there's that deck building tension there, where, like, if you remove a Stoneforge Mystic to make yourself a little bit better against Pile and just, like, get more proactive threats in the deck, then you weaken your ability to stabilize the board against Delver with Batterskull. And even though, like, we drew Batterskull a couple of times and it was super bad and it got stranded in our hand, there were other games where it was very important. Like, whatever matchup we played, that, like, Deathblade matchup or whatever it was, where my opponent got a Batterskull, and then I got a Batterskull right back, but mine was protected by Mom, so I established supremacy. Like, that wouldn't have happened without the Batterskull, and that game would have been super tough. Am I going to test the other legendary from Dominaria? Teshi, Tushi, whatever that guy's name is. I don't think I'm going to test that. because it's a 4-drop that requires other cards in order to be good, and that's not where I think I want to be. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. Thank you very much for watching and joining me. I appreciate all the feedback and helping me with testing. I might be able to squeeze in another league tomorrow night. Not sure. Gotta figure out how much oomph I've still got left in me and how much stuff I have to do otherwise. But, you know, thank you all for your support. Like, I think I got like 2,200 bits last night when I streamed. I got a donation previously, and a donation of a snow-covered plains to round out my set online. And I've gotten a lot of constructive feedback on my deck lists, and I really do appreciate that. So, Woody, that's terrible luck. But you have a sweet video to watch. There were some really interesting matches tonight, so I suppose I'll go ahead and sign off and let you watch the replay. Night, folks.